Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you for watching our live for tonight. My name is Nacino, and I'm really happy and honored that you can join us tonight. So tonight is a really special night because I'll be interviewing an author. We'll talk about her book and also her journey towards writing her own book. So if you're watching right now, please say hi in the comments. And if you have any questions at any point during our conversation, please share your questions as well in the comment section, and we'll do our best to answer them. I'll do my best as well to ask them from our guests. So please say hi if you're watching, and let us know where you are tuning in from, whether from the Philippines or from another country. So I'm really happy that you're here. I'm really happy that you can join us. And also, we have a gift for you. So I wrote this book called Why You Need to Write a Book. And if you would like to get a copy of this book for free, all you need to do is go to theauthorsvoice.net/book. Again, that's theauthorsvoice.net/book. We'll also put the link in the comment section. Okay, so let me now introduce to you our guest. So we'll talk about how to be a brand new you, why leveling up is so important, and why we need to aspire to upgrade ourselves. So our guest is the author of the book Be a Brand New You, a public speaker, certified life coach, a Master NLP practitioner, a registered financial planner, chartered wealth advisor, wow, and an insurance specialist. She had 10 years of corporate experience specializing in training, sales, and marketing before joining the insurance industry in 2012. She is also one of the resident YAMAN coaches of the Personal Finance Advisors, which is spearheaded by its CEO, Mr. Efren Cruz, RFP, and a member of its flagship program, Enrich G.O.O.D, or Getting Out of Debt. She is also one of the agency leaders of a prestigious insurance company where she is a consistent National Achievers Club awardee, while her team soars as Gamma International awardee. More than being an achiever, she loves the arts and expresses herself not only through writing, but also through painting. I'm so pleased to welcome to the Nacino TV our guest for tonight, Jendee Sapo de Guzman. Hi, Jendee.
Hi, hello, Misha. Good evening to all our viewers. Yeah, it's really surreal, very exciting because I'm going to share this. How do you call this virtual stage,
Yes.
virtual video? But it's really an amazing experience for me to share how our viewers and listeners at the same time would be able to level up despite the things that we've experienced this 2020.
Cool. So, yesterday, our friends from the US celebrated Thanksgiving. So, speaking of Thanksgiving, I'd like to ask you, what are you most grateful for right now?
Mm. First and foremost, yes, happy Thanksgiving to our friends and family in the US. When it comes to being grateful, actually, there are a lot of things that I would be really grateful about, but I'm always grateful for the gift of family. And I've mentioned earlier, Misha, that 2020 may not be a perfect year. So I'm just happy that the family is always with me, regardless of our situation this year with the challenges, not only with our fellow Filipinos, but all over the world. Whether you have joyful moments or not so good moments, the gift of family, that's what I'm really grateful about. And their health, of course, the health of my whole family. That's the most important thing at this moment in time.
Right. I think this 2020 made us realize what really matters, right? What
Yes,
really,
yes,
really
agree.
matters in life. Mhm. So, I can see that you're also into arts. Are those your
Yes,
paintings?
yes. uh,
Wow.
the pandemic gave birth to my hobby to finally paint a lot. I stopped painting when I was in college, if I'm not mistaken. That was only last year. No, I'm just kidding. I graduated in college in early 2000, and this is the only time that I've given it, some sort of focus when I have a spare time. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that one painting? I think that's the eagle. Is that the
Eagle, yeah.
Philippine eagle?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
the eagle is my metaphor. And in fact, it's actually in the book also, Be a Brand New You, that whenever you have challenges and happy moments in life, you may want to associate yourself in for with an animal, with a person, or with an event, because a metaphor will always help us move forward, or if there's a challenging moment, say the same thing, move forward, or if there are happy moments, you become even more happy. So it's a metaphor. It's
Right.
actually an NLP technique, neuro-linguistic programming technique. So that's why I have the ego here.
I love that. And I can see that you're into painting and then you've written your book. So tell us about your inspiration. Why did you decide, or who inspired, or what inspired you to write a book and to write that specific book that you wrote?
Yeah. This Be a Brand New You, it's actually a birth of a compelling reason to become a better mother. I started writing in a blog, expressing myself, but during the time when I was in college, I just love to express myself through writing, and it doesn't matter to me if someone's reading or not. However, when I became a mother, there's this thing, I don't know what's the term, but there is a mother factor, that when you
Mm-hmm.
become a mother, you want to aspire different things in life because you want to leave a better legacy to your child. So it gave me a reason to finally, put it in a book. And I realized that my lifetime is not enough to teach my child of the things that I've learned for my 37 years in this life so far. So I decided, it actually started with a diary. When I gave birth
Mm-hmm.
to her in 2016, I have this small notebook, and I write the things, breakthroughs, things that I learned every day of my life that I think would be significant as she grow up. But I realized that why not write it in a form of a book so that even her counterparts would also learn out of it. So the birth
Mm,
of Be a Brand New You.
nice. So as I can see, you're a mom. How many kids do
Yeah.
you have?
I only have one daughter. She's 4 years old.
Wow. And how was her reaction when when she saw that you wrote
Um,
a book?
well, she's happy because she has her picture here, but I don't think she's able to realize that it's really all about it. But I believe that one day when she's already older enough to understand why I wrote this, I hope that this will serve some sort of a starting point whenever she is happy, whenever she is sad. Because 2020, Misha, one of the things that I realized, that life is really short, and we have
Mm-hmm.
to maximize that whatever the skills and talents that God gave us, well, it's free. And so these things that I'm passionate about, writing, speaking, teaching, painting, I want to really use it so that I would be a blessing to my child. And in return, I want her to continue that kind of legacy. And I want her to continue that kind of mindset, that we as human beings, we are created to not actually divide, but to be a blessing to each one of us.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so tell us about your book. So be a brand new you. How can we become a brand new you?
Brand
Brand
new
new
person,
me.
yes. All
Yes,
right.
brand new person.
Tony Robbins said that there is happiness in growth. And
Mm-hmm.
neuroscientists also said that if we are following the same routine every day, our life will become boring. So we have to inject new things in our life so that it will become exciting, right? So becoming a brand new person will allow us to progress. So when I say progress, it's not only about career, it's not only about family life or relationships. It's actually all areas of our life. For our friends who are listening, for our family who are listening, you can actually Google this, the wheel of life. It may be your starting point on how you're going to upgrade in all areas of your life. So it's called wheel of life because you cannot move with a flat tire, right? So
Mm-hmm.
with
Right.
those all areas of our life, it has to be balanced. And for us to become a better person and to upgrade ourselves, we need to have a balanced life so that we can see our life on a bigger perspective. And when we look at our lives on a bigger perspective, that's the time we can say that we become significant. So, what are the things that I took to become a brand new person? I invest in myself. And one of the things I started to invest in, of course, is your mentoring program, Misha, the 90-day book challenge. At first, I was asking myself, is it really possible to really write a book in 90 days? And then one of your YouTube channels, I've watched it way back, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and you were able to write a book overnight. Then I told myself, can I really do this? But I told myself, okay, anyway, just do it. So I enrolled in your program. And I was so amazed that I was able to write the content of this book more or less 2 weeks. But that's the rough draft, Misha. Okay, so of course the book will undergo the usual proofreading, editing, and layout. But the content, my heart and mind that I put on was only 2 weeks. So I realized that it's really possible. So I started to invest in myself. So the 90-day book challenge, it's actually one of the starting points. And then, well, aside from the financial planning career, because aside from an insurance agent who started in 2012, I really invested also in financial planning certifications like the RFP, the CWA, etc. because I want to help my clients become more
Yes.
in this field. So investing in ourselves through training, mentoring, coaching, and then just a few hours earlier, I was with Mr. Jason Law, and he said you're friends, of course, and he
Yes.
told me that in terms of speaking, we also need to invest in. So just this year, I enrolled in his master class, and I realized that aside from being a good communicator, just for the sole purpose of my craft, which is selling, we really need to become good communicators because there are a lot of things in our mind and in our heart, and there are ways and techniques on how we can be effective in transferring these learnings and thoughts with our families and with our, well, in my case, of course, with the financial advisors in my team. So I invested in myself. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is you really need to decide. You really need to choose to upgrade yourself, because if you're not going to do anything, our dreams will just stay as dreams and not as vision. So I got this, of course, from my mentor, Sir Jason Law, that there are no dreams, but there are visions. So a dream will just stay as a dream if we're not going to act upon it. So we are in the stage of our life that we have to make sure that these dreams must be put into action to reality. So it's a vision. And then finally, of course, what I want to share is, aside from the metaphor, a metaphor is very important to me. We need to have a superhero character. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to find out who are those people who will be able to help us. Like in book writing, of course, it's you, Michelle, with in our
Okay.
community. I started I was able to finally put it in a book because of your mentoring. And then in speaking, of course, Mr. Jason Law. In financial planning, I have several mentors and coaches. In our insurance industry, of course, my branch manager, Miss Eileen Gapod, who actually was my financial advisor way back 2008, who just invited me to become a financial advisor. So decide that you really want to upgrade yourself because it's more exciting and you will become significant. And then energy. When I say energy, it's not only about energy in terms of physical, because if you want to aspire, if you want to become a better person, it requires some sort of physical effort. Like you will spend time, etc. You will spend your time with meetings and many other things. So you have to have at least a physical activity.
Right.
So going back to the wheel of life. So if you're not doing some exercise, well, maybe this is the time to do it. Because I remember in the insurance industry, when I wanted to qualify in one incentive, this was actually in 2014. I was looking for ways on how I could really qualify to the incentive. I just
Mm-hmm.
suddenly decided to go with my husband to play badminton. So we
Mm-hmm.
played badminton for 3 or 4 times a week. That's before I got pregnant.
Wow.
So, that I was slimmer before I got before I got pregnant. Okay, so I spent 3 to 4 times a week. Then suddenly, for some reasons, I attracted everything. All of just my clients just
Wow.
came to me and told me that they're looking for a financial advisor, and that's the time I realized that we need to have a balanced life. So energy, physical
Yes.
energy. Then we need to feed our soul, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We need to give devotion, of course, to our creator, because these things came from him. So we are nothing if we're not going to really devote time to the one who is really divine. Okay, so
Right.
devotion, spiritual, or spirituality, and mind. So that's also the reason why I invested in trainings. So actually there are a lot of things that I've shared in the book, but those are just a few of the things that I think our viewers and listeners can consider as their starting point.
Yes, I just want to touch on what you said about when you started playing badminton, and then you suddenly realized that clients came to you. So
Yes.
then you mentioned about energy. I believe in that because everything's energy. Maybe when you were playing badminton, you felt good, right?
Yes, Misha,
Felt
that's
good, you
true.
felt excited, and then you would
Happy,
attract
happy
people
feeling.
happy. Yes, and then you would attract people who also want to feel those or who are already feeling those.
Yeah, I agree to that, Misha. That's true. That's actually what transpired during that year.
Mm-hmm. So before I ask the next question, I just want to greet people who are watching right now. Kim, hi from San Juan City. Hi, Kim. And then Julius. Good evening, Ma'am Sha. Good evening to Julius. So thank you for watching. And if you are watching via replay later, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section, or also towards the end of our interview, I'll ask Jendee to uh, to share where you can find her. I mean, where you can message her. So if you have any questions for her, you can reach her via her Facebook or any social
Yeah.
media. There. So Jendee, I can see that you've invested a lot. You are a master NLP practitioner, RFP, a registered financial planner, chartered wealth advisor, certified life coach, and all this. So, what was the biggest lesson that you learned from investing in all these learning opportunities?
It all boils down to progress also. I really want to grow as a person because I want to reciprocate.
Mm-hmm.
So, like what I mentioned earlier, Misha, I have skills and talents that I'm passionate about, but it's not like 100% effective just yet. Like, for example, I really love painting, but for now, if we're going to compare my artworks, there are a lot of, well, way, way better artists than me. So, that's also the reason why I practice. I also ask an artist to become my mentor so that I can improve. And in return, I know that it's giving happiness to my family. It's giving happiness to the people around me too. Sometimes I donate and give my artworks to give happiness to my friends and family. And the effect of me upgrading myself is I'm able to share that not only to my friends, but first and foremost to my family, to my child, to my parents, to my siblings, to my in-laws, most importantly. And the things that I've learned in coaching, both financial and life coaching, are the things that we need today.
Mm-hmm.
And expressing ourselves not only in speaking and writing will actually help us go a long way. And when I say go a long way, it makes you relevant all the days of your life. And becoming relevant all the days of my life is one of the things I really want to happen even if when I grow older. Because I think the main purpose of us living this life is to give back. Whatever I've learned, I want to just give it back. That's all. That's actually what I want. I want to learn this because I want to give it back to others, especially to those people who are lacking opportunities to learn these things. So I want to be a catalyst to be able to help them as well to level up as their starting point. Then eventually, if they can do it by themselves, then I would be happy that they are going to do it by themselves.
Right. You know, I can feel that your team members, the members of your team in your company are so blessed to have you as their mentor because you've invested in all these learning opportunities. And of course, when you know something, you cannot help but share, right? And one of your ways of sharing is by writing that book.
Yes,
So
Misha, I agree with that.
yes, I want to ask Jendee, what were the changes or the opportunities that opened up to you when you
Mm.
started investing in yourself, and also when you started writing or when you published your first book?
When the book was published, I didn't realize that, well, I have so many friends who supported because they're the ones who really bought the book. So the greater percentage of my book was bought by my friends, and
Mhm.
I'm really happy that it's not only just because they want to support me, but I'm happy with the feedback when they were able to finally read the book. And aside from that, speaking engagements come to me, which I did not really intend to do. I get paid for speaking because of the book that I wrote. They wanted me to
Mhm.
share the contents of the book. Sometimes it became a package, like, for example, a certain number of books, and then I'm going to share a 45-minute or 1 minute, minute talk about the book. So speaking engagements opened, and it helped me gain a lot more confidence in myself, that finally this kind of thoughts or these files in my computer is finally real, and I can hold it and I can share it as a form of legacy. Yeah.
Right, it became so tangible, right?
Yes, Misha, that's true.
Mhm. So, what were the challenges that you experienced when you were investing in yourself and you were looking at all these learning? So, for example, let's talk about one particular investment that you made. One particular learning investment that you made. So you invested into becoming a master NLP practitioner. So
Yeah.
can you tell us more about what's an NLP practitioner is, and what can we get if we become an NLP practitioner?
With neuro-linguistic programming, at first, I just wanted to understand what really NLP is. And I just want to use the content of the training, not really for the not actually with the certification, but I want to use the content on how I can help my agents become better, not just agents but better people in terms of financial planning, in terms of them as their, as a daughter, as a son, as a parent, etc. And then eventually I realized that NLP is a form of, well, let's put this in a layman's term so that our viewers and listeners would understand. It's like there are techniques on how we can actually tap the subconscious mind, and they're
Mm-hmm.
actually memories that are affecting our behavior today. And for us to be able to, well, number one, cure or
Mm-hmm.
strengthen that certain behavior today, we can tap on the past experiences through NLP techniques. And I'm using it not only in with engaging my financial advisors. I use it when I do my speaking engagements. There are
Mm-hmm.
actually techniques here also, not so much, but I've shared techniques here as well. And then I realized that NLP, together with life coaching principles, is a good match in terms of becoming a better parent, becoming a better parent to my child, becoming a better tita, auntie to
Mm-hmm.
my nephews and nieces, and of course, a better wife. And most especially if there are physical um, manifestations such as pain at the back, or like one time my husband has a pain at his back, then we used NLP. We were
Mm-hmm.
able to search where it is coming. It's actually coming from a memory. And in
Really?
NLP, in a few seconds or
Uh-huh.
in a few minutes, the pain would be gone. Um,
Mm.
by the way, my mentor in neuro-linguistic programming is from Sure Success, Sir Jojo Apollo.
Yes, I
I
know.
believe you know him, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
actually enrolled also for NLP. I
Oh,
actually enrolled in NLP. So I'm also a certified NLP practitioner, although I don't practice it. I haven't practiced it recently, but it's so powerful. For example, I
yes.
used to be I had a phobia when it comes to snakes. When you
Mm.
even when you mentioned that word, I would cringe. I used to cringe. And when I would see a picture, I would shout, or I would it's it's just so traumatic for me to see it. And then during that time, during our session, I remember she was curing a classmate of that trauma, same trauma. And he said that whoever has the same trauma, just listen and just ride, right? As if he's
Yes.
also talking to us. So I
Yes.
was I was just riding, and after that, after he cured that the trauma of that classmate, I would look at the same picture, and it didn't have that much effect on
Fun.
me
Right.
anymore. It's
Yes.
gone. So that is so
Yes.
important, Jendi, about
Yes.
we really want to touch that, because sometimes we wonder, for example, if someone is listening right now, or viewing this video right now, and he's wondering, okay, I think I'm very hardworking, I have the right work ethics, I'm earning pretty well, but how come I don't save money? How
Yes.
come I don't have any savings? It could be that there is a belief in your
Yeah.
child. When you were a child, there was something stored in your subconscious. So can you
Mm.
tell us how someone can address that?
Oh, okay. This is an NLP technique.
Uh-huh.
We can actually use a simplified method, but there is a more complex method to doing this, which is timeline technique, in fact. But you must be guided by an NLP practitioner for this to become effective. But actually, I think you can find it probably. I'm not sure in YouTube. Just type in timeline technique. I'm not sure if you can do this to yourself. But one of the most simple ways to do this
Mm-hmm.
when you do meditation, meditation, um, since I think this is recorded, so when you do meditation, you have to. I'm going to share with you some techniques. Okay, so listen very carefully. For those who are
So
listening, for
this
those
is
who are
so important.
listening, yes, you have to close your eyes and you have to feel your eyelids that are closed. Then you have to feel your
Mhm.
breathing. The second, Third, you have to feel your weight. If you're sitting, then your weight to the chair or to the ground. Then you have to
Mm-hmm.
feel the your clothes that touches your skin. Then you have
Mm-hmm.
to listen carefully with the air around you. Number six. Number seven, you have to listen to the air of probably the electric fan or the aircon. And then
Mm-hmm.
third, you might probably want to listen to the voice of the, say for example, from the YouTube, or
Mm-hmm.
your voice, like if you are talking to yourself. So you have to do that 8 things repeatedly. And then as you are thinking about those 8 things, you have to make sure that you feel relaxed. You're not tense. You have
Mm-hmm.
to feel relaxed and relaxed. And then eventually you have to go back to a time when you heard a belief about money.
Mm.
It may be, say, for example, it could be when you were very young, it could be when you were in your high school, college, or just very recently. So the first memory that would appear that has an effect on you today. So the gap between the that first memory that you have encountered during that particular practice and then
Mm-hmm.
your present behavior, that's what we heal in NLP. And this kind of technique, it needs an NLP practitioner to guide you, because it takes some sort of, well, it would be just a few minutes, but it's different when someone is really guiding you because you have to close your
Right.
eyes. And when I
Right.
try to do it with myself, it's difficult to practice it just by myself because I get interrupted all the time. So I would
Yes.
ask a fellow NLP practitioner to do that for me. So it's a timeline technique. You may wanna do it in a try to search it in YouTube, or just do the meditation technique. Okay, then you go back to a time, and the first memory that appear, that's the memory that has an impact to your belief system in terms of money. You may want to do this also in terms of your limiting beliefs. So you will ask your subconscious to go back to a time when you started to have this limiting belief that has an effect at your present time. So that's timeline technique.
Wow, that is so powerful, Jendee. And I like the meditation technique because it also teaches you to be grounded and to be fully present in the moment, which is something that a lot of us lack these days because we're so distracted.
Yes,
One minute that we're not doing anything, we need to check our phones or things like that. So
yes,
it's so important. Even if you just do the meditation on a daily basis, it will really make a huge impact in your life. So, Jendy, we have a question from our
yes.
viewer right now, from Julius. How can I approach or look for a mentor?
Okay. I will just share my personal experience. In our industry, in the insurance industry, we already have mentors and coaches. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to look for a mentor or a coach, you look for somebody whom you think you can resonate with. When I look for a mentor, it's important to me that we have the same values. It's important to me because sometimes you will be able to find a mentor or a coach, but the value system is different from yours. So it will not connect to your dreams and goals. So in looking for a mentor, you have to make sure that number one, he or she would be able to help you achieve your dreams and your goals. Plus the value system. For me, it's very important. For me, I think that's the most important. You have the same values, and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, the coach or mentor is becoming a superhero figure to you, that he's
Mm-hmm.
able to get you out of the limiting belief or with your fear or whatsoever you want to solve in your life. I think value system, that's most important for me, Misha.
Right. So, values. So, I agree with you because sometimes, um, for example, the mentor can be really, really good with what he is really
Yeah.
competent with that particular thing. But
Yes.
for some reason, you feel iffy, you feel uncomfortable dealing with this person, maybe because your values are not aligned. So, that
Yeah.
is so important. So, let's say our viewers were able to find people who share the same values. So how do they approach that mentor? What do they
Mm,
ask if
okay.
they want that person to be their mentor?
Okay. Based on my personal experience, I actually asked the coach or a mentor if they can mentor me, or if I can be their coachee. Then sometimes it suddenly comes to you. Like for example, I really want to write the book. Then suddenly the email of Write University popped up in my email. And I really grabbed that opportunity because probably because of law of attraction, the law of energy and vibration. So eventually, I finally found the way to start with writing a book mentoring, which that leads me to you, of course, Misha. So you can find people within your network, number one, within your community, like for example, in your company. If you think your boss or say for example, your employee, you look up to him or to her, and you want to learn a lot from that person, you approach him. I think there's nothing wrong approaching these mentors or coaches or these people whom you think can mentor you. I think it's very important that you also express yourself, and it may be some sort of a fascinating feeling with that person that you approach that person to become a mentee or to become a mentor or a coach. So you can approach them. You can also search for well, there are a lot of what do you call this, programs that are available already and searchable, right, Misha?
Mhm.
So aside from right
Yes.
university, even Tony Robbins is in social media, he is in the internet, and you can already find their packages, their rates, etc. Or you can also go to your community, to your church, definitely your pastor, your priest, your family member. If you can find it inside your home, you go out to your community, you go to your church, you go to your work.
Mm-hmm. And what I liked about what you said, Randy, was that when you were ready to write a book, suddenly you saw that email. It popped
Yes,
up, and there is this
yes,
I'm not sure if this is a proverb or who said it. The teacher appears when the student is ready.
yes.
Because
That's right.
actually, yeah, I really believe in that because I also believe that everything is already available to us, but we would be able to recognize it only when we're ready. So as soon as we're ready, you would recognize it. Like I remember when I was buried in credit card debts before, and then now I wanted to read books about money. I wanted to learn about money. Whenever I would go to a bookstore, the books that I would see would be books on money. So it's not like suddenly these authors publish books on money, right? The books have
Yes,
been there all the time.
yeah,
But I only noticed them when I became interested, when I was ready to learn. And then later on I was able to zero out my debts, etc. So thank you for sharing that, Jendi. And also this is a really good example that you're sharing with us that you can find a mentor by going searching the social media, like you mentioned Tony Robbins, because
yeah.
actually these days there are so many ways to be mentored. Could be
Mm,
via books. So for example, you want to have Jendi as your mentor, you can buy her book
mm.
and you can be mentored through her book, or you can search her on Facebook. If
Wait,
she has videos, you can watch that. Or if there are mentors that you would like to learn from, you can be mentored via YouTube, via a podcast, via a book, via their paid online courses, free stuff,
yeah,
etc. Right
yeah.
there. So Jendi, where did this passion to keep learning come from?
I think it came from the family. My parents are teachers.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up in a house where my mom and my dad both were doing their lesson plans, but they're both retired now, so I don't see lesson plans anymore. They retired teaching computer, so computer,
Oh.
yeah, TLE computer, yeah. And maybe it has an impact in me. And when I
Mm-hmm.
had the Gallup Strengths Finder test, but this
Mm-hmm.
is the one that you found at the back of the book, not the certification. But so I took the exam, etc. And one of my top strengths is really learning. It's actually one of the top seven.
I
So that
see.
defines it. Yeah. And I actually asked myself, Michelle, why I keep on learning, I keep on studying.
Mm-hmm.
I told myself na, hindi ba ako napapagod? Am I not getting tired of learning? I told myself. Then, eventually, I encountered Gallup Strengths, and that says it. Not only because my parents are teachers, I grew up in a family of teachers. I have aunts also who are teachers. So we are a family of teachers also. And then I found out in Gallup Strengths that I'm a learner. So it's really one of my top strengths. And when I learn something new in my life, it
Mm-hmm.
gives me the fire. It gives me the fire to continue what I wanted to do. It gives me some sort of motivation.
What are
Learning.
the other what are your other strengths according to the Strengths Finder test?
I already forgot the other strengths, Misha, because what
Mhm.
retained to me is really the learner, because I've been searching for an answer why I really love to learn. But if I'm not mistaken, there is another counterpart in terms of influence, and I'm not really good at details. And
Mm.
that's what I learned about myself. And that I think that's also the reason why if there are things in the company that I think it's difficult for me to handle, I I delegate. I asked my staff to do it for me because I cannot become an effective person if I would try to work on my weaknesses. So the
Right,
weaknesses I have to delegate my weakness to somebody's strengths, something like that.
right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, Jendy, I'm learning a lot from this conversation, and I really love this because, like you, one of my top strengths is also a learner. I love to learn.
Wow.
So you talked about delegating your weakness to someone who is strong in that area. I
Yeah.
remember in school they would teach us to work on our weaknesses, right? If you're not good, for example, there are subjects and you're not good in math and you're
Yeah.
pretty good in English, so they're usually they won't tell you to study English more. They would tell you to focus on math to improve your math. But in real life, what happens really is that the smart thing to do or the wise thing to do is to focus on your strengths and then just delegate your weakness. So can
Yeah.
you kind of expound like what were some of the instances wherein you delegated your weakness and then you got the results that you want?
Okay. That's number one. I'm not a detailed person. So in
Mhm.
our industry, in the insurance industry, I really asked my staff to do some things for me because what I want is to focus on coaching, leading my agents, and at the same time with my leaders in my team, I also learn from them because there are actually a set of millennial leaders in my team who are
Ah,
detailed. So at which I understand, I'm not a detailed person. So sometimes we are not meeting at the same point. So I would ask their help on a particular matter and then I would delegate. And then at the same time, I learned from them. So that's the time I started delegating. I don't cook. My mom and my mother-in-law are the best cook at home. So those are the things that I really delegate because
uh-huh.
when I cook, I have to make sure that I have when the term in Tagalog, you have this código, you have this steps,
Yes, the
instructions for
notes.
me to be able
Uh-huh.
to cook sinigang. But I can cook hot dog, eggs, you know. I can cook sinigang, of course, but
Rice.
still, I need to
Yes.
have some copy or a YouTube video playing right beside me to do that. So those are the things I think would not help me. And those kinds of weaknesses allow me to get some more time for my strengths and for my
Mhm.
strengths like to write, to spend time with my child, to spend time with my husband, to spend time with my parents. Like during the weekends, we are in my parents' house. Like today, we're actually in another area in Pasig, and since my brother is already in Japan, so I want to make sure that we spend time also with my parents. So my daughter and of course we are here on weekends. And then I spend
Mhm.
time with my husband still. So we started playing badminton again, but just the two of us because of course the pandemic is still here. So we
Right.
play only the two of us. Then I spend time with my daughter, and because I'm a freelancer, I do a lot of things, but I want to make sure that still I give time with my daughter. So especially in this time that my routine is every morning I have to make sure she was able to eat her breakfast. Um,
Mhm.
I was able to um, give her some modules sometimes, and of course taking a bath before I go on to my Zoom meetings the whole day, the whole afternoon. Sometimes our Zoom meetings are actually up until the evenings, right? And
Yes.
yeah, routine is very important also for me because since I want to work on my strengths, so if I have a spare time, that's the time I paint. So Friday night, since I'm here, Saturday weekends. So if I'm done with my activities in the insurance industry, writing, or any other coaching, I paint.
So you were able to focus. So there's this principle called Pareto Principle. You're able to focus on your top 20% that gives you
Paint.
80% of the results.
Yeah,
Because those things that you mentioned are not something that you can delegate, right? You cannot delegate spending
painting.
time with your daughter, spending time
Yeah,
with your husband,
hus-
painting.
yeah,
Those are really important things that only you can do. So I think that's really wise, Jendy, and this is a good reminder to our viewers and to all of us to really focus, look at the things that really matter, the things that you really, really need to do. You don't need to do everything,
Yeah.
and you can delegate. So when you delegate, also you're giving opportunity for other people to to be of service, to give value, and to be employed as well, right?
Yes, I agree,
Yes,
Misha.
so thank you for that, Jendi. So let's go back to your book, Be a Brand New You. What helped you write your book, and how has the 90-day book writing challenge helped you in writing your book? And if we have viewers right now who are tuning in live, or maybe who will watch the replay, what is your number one tip on how they can write their book as well?
Okay. When I was starting writing the book, well, I think one of the things they might encounter is the writer's block.
Uh-huh.
But I was able to solve that because of the 90-day book challenge. I didn't realize that there is also an NLP technique, not until I was able to enroll to the 90-day book challenge. So I meditated a lot. I tried to find out the source of why I really want to write the book, because if there is no why I want to write the book, then there's no point of writing the book. So it gave me the compelling reason, just like what I mentioned earlier, that it's because this is a legacy for my daughter and a legacy for her counterparts. And it's a form of whatever I've learned in this lifetime. I want to document it so that when we are gone, when we passed on, our next generation will continue. So it's something that I've learned during meditation. So I use that to battle the writer's block. And I was able to finish the book because there is a guide. Our modules, our sessions in the 90-day book challenge, and our community, Misha. Actually, I gained a lot of author friends because of
Mm-hmm.
BWC. Yeah, Jonash, and we have authors from another country who actually
Yes.
went home last November, right, because of launching their book and because of the Global Author Summit. So I gained a lot of friends because of BWC, and because of that, I'm even more inspired to write more. And we already have a support group. So when I was starting writing the Be a Brand New You book, the modules from the 90-day book challenge gave me clarity on how I'm going to start with the outline, how I'm going to write even the acknowledgement part. I'm not really sure how to do that before, but it's actually in the module, because sometimes I would just look for the books at the bookstore, and I would look at the books, then I would tell myself they have different styles. So what is my style? And then
Mm-hmm.
not until I finished the modules, our sessions, then I created my own style. So there are a lot of things they would learn. So it's important that they would start, the just do it mentality of Nike. That's my favorite. So just do it, because their regret weighs tons, right? It's more difficult that we have regrets than putting an action to it right now, so that you would be able to find if this is something that is really for you or not. So those are the things that I've encountered. Other than that, I can't remember the other things. Maybe it's because of maybe becoming an NLP practitioner also helped, because of the techniques that I've used in meditation, um, timeline technique. I also use that, and I also asked the help of my fellow NLP practitioners, and the Facebook group also of the BWC. I always post. I always ask our fellow authors, and I actually it's an honor that whenever I ask, you're the one, Misha, who's even answering to the questions of all of the authors. I told myself, wow, it's Misha Nacino's answering all to the queries of all these authors. So it's really amazing. It's an amazing experience, and we're really grateful for that, Misha. We're really grateful for that.
Thank you, Jendi. So, by the way, for the benefit of all our viewers right now and those who will watch via replay, so Jendi was one of the graduates of the 90-day book writing challenge online course.
Yeah,
And if you also have a dream to write a book, you can go to shanasino.com/write. And Jendi, I really liked what you said about documenting your thoughts, your knowledge, experiences right now for your daughter and also for the next generations. Because imagine this, what if our grandmothers or grandfathers wrote their books during their time, right? Right
yeah,
now, our great great grandmother. So both of my grandparents already passed on. So I imagine how did they think when they were my age, or how did they think when they were still around, or what
Yes.
were the lessons that they would have wanted to teach their granddaughters or grandsons.
Mhm.
And I have no way except by asking my papa, Papa, what do you think?
Stories.
Things like that. But what if there's a book, right? There's a book or there's a document where you can actually read the thoughts of your of your
Yes. Your
ancestors and
grandparents. Yes.
grandparents, yes, great grandparents. So thank you, Jenny. That is one compelling reason to write a book. Um, it's not just for this generation, but think about the generation of your granddaughter, great granddaughter, great great granddaughter, or grandson.
Yes.
So for Jenny, I think it's refreshing to hear it using that perspective. I think that's the first time that I heard that particular perspective about documenting your life now for, for your children and then grandchildren as well. So thank you, Jendy. So if people would like to reach you, and maybe they would like to buy your book or get you as a coach, as their life coach, how can they reach you?
Yes, thank you so much, Misha. Misha, before I would share my page, my Facebook page, I remember also, Misha, that aside from the, because you've mentioned already the documentation process.
Right.
I One of the another reason actually, my father-in-law passed on last month, and
Good to hear
uh,
that.
I told myself that he passed on at age 79, and he suffered Alzheimer's for the past years. And I told myself, how does it feel for him that he wanted to teach me and my husband about married life, or becoming
Mm-hmm.
a parent to our daughter, and but he has Alzheimer's already. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually, one of the things aside from the fact that I want to leave a legacy, that's one of the point in my life that also pushed me to write this book. And which leads me to what you said earlier, Misha, that, like, for example, it was you as my daughter telling me that how does my lolo thinks about this when I was his age,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So it's
Yeah.
actually one of the things, my father-in-law. So there. All right. So um, you may find me easily in Facebook. So just look for my page, Coach Jendee de Guzman. Then I have another Facebook page with a fellow life coach. It's called Pay It Forward Today. And Pay It Forward Today, our objective for that particular page is to also, well, the name itself, Pay It Forward. So we want to teach about life and finance. So my fellow coach is Coach Nerissa Sotero. So Pay It Forward Today. We also have a YouTube channel, Pay It Forward Today.
All
So
right.
there.
So we'll also put the link in the description box so
Yeah.
that if you're watching this, you can just click the link and you'll be able to reach Jendy. Okay. So here's the link now. So follow
There you go.
Jendy follow
And
Jendy
my
at
website. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you for that.
That's the site. Thank you, Kim. So Kim, one of my team members, is here and she's helping us. Thank you, Kim. So thank you, Jendi. Thank you so much for joining us here at the YouTube Live. We learned a lot from you, and the learner in me got really excited to learn more and to talk to a like-minded individual who also loves to learn. So thank you so much, and
Thank
more
you,
power
Misha.
to whatever you do.
And to you also, Misha. Thank you so much. It's an honor. It's an honor.
You're welcome, and God bless you.
God bless you.
All right. So there you have it. We learned from Jendi. She's the author of the book "Be a Brand New You," and I'm really happy that she shared her journey as a learner, her journey as a as an author as well. I met Jendi at the 90-day book writing challenge where she was one of the graduates. So if you would also like to write your book and you've been wanting to write a book but you don't know where to start, or maybe you have ideas about you have ideas about the book that you want to write, but you're clueless. So how do I write a book? What are the steps to writing a book? You can visit shanacino.com/write so you can learn more about the 90-day book writing challenge and how the 90-day book writing challenge can help you. Also, we have a free ebook for you. You can download it here. The ebook is called Why You Need to Write a Book. So if you have a burning message to share and you would like to share that message through a book, you can download this book. Why You Need to Write a Book, just go to theauthorsvoice.net/book. So again, this is Sha Nacino, and it has been such a blessing and honor to spend this time with you. And thank you for tuning in to this YouTube live, or if you're watching this via replay later on. Share your comments in the comment section below. If you have any questions, share it in the comment section as well, and I'd be happy to answer them as soon as I can. Okay, I'd be happy to reply to your comments. All right. So again, this is Shana Sino, and we'd like to share this video with you.
I know that the 90 book writing challenge is very, very helpful, not only to a person like me, but to other people as well who would love to write their own book, even if they're not a writer.
It brought me to a whole new world because it became a complete guide in writing a book. They will send you like module every week of what you have to accomplish. And then it teaches us discipline and focus that you have to write every day.
I'm so happy I enrolled because the lessons are structured. But the good thing about it is that you can access it anytime, anywhere. So I can do it after work, in a coffee shop, or anywhere I want.
Because of the book writing course, I understand how to conceptualize the topic, how to have the writing time, and also how to finish the chapter, where to look for publisher, for printer, editor, everything nandun po sa course na yun.
Many years ago, I would get so excited every time I launch a book. But now what excites me is that when I see the graduates of the 90-Day Book Writing Challenge launch their books. What we're teaching at the 90-Day Book Writing Challenge is a system that works. No matter who you are, no matter what your background is, you are worthy to become an author. And you don't even need to be a writer in order to write a book.
Through writing, a story that is unique to only myself can be shared as a gift to other people for them to relate to learn from, and to be moved by.
When you write a book, it's like you talking to hundreds or thousands of people one at a time. You talk to that person one-on-one, as if you are the friend of that person and you are journeying together. So to be able to touch one life, one soul, that's really a big blessing already.
I told myself, I think I need to share the journey that I had. Meron kang kwento na ikaw lang makakapag-share sa mga tao. And so I believed her.
It's probably one of the best decisions I've ever done because the 90-Day Book Writing Challenge has taught me discipline. Sabi nga ni Misha, if I'm able to touch even just one of you to get inspired and to maximize your life's potential, then I am truly, truly happy and have served my purpose.
Shana Sino is one of my answered prayers. The challenge dispelled my limiting beliefs. It helped me big time.
I am a proven proof na sinasabi ni Sha na pag may book ka na, TV show will ask you to be your guest speakers.
You don't write a book because you want to become an author. You don't write a book because of money. You don't write a book because of fame. Those are consequences of writing a book. You write because there is a very important message that you need to share, and you feel that writing a book is one of the best ways.
Whatever it is that you would like to pursue, it is possible, it is doable. I am not telling you that it's easy, but I am telling everyone that it's worth it.
Just start, even when your hands are trembling or your knees are shaking. If you believe in something with all your heart, press start.
You got to define what you really want and then do something to make it happen. This is the biggest lesson I've learned from this book writing course.
Write because you care and you have a message to share.
It's about touching the lives of other people. It's about making a difference.
Thanks to Miss Sha Nacino, who's very supportive. I love how her speaking voice guides me as if she was just here in every single writing journey I had.
And I believe that it is not only us authors here who have this ability to share our strength to the world. And so I encourage you to finally take that first step. Be part of the 90 book writing challenge so that your voice will be heard as well.
We are creating a global community of authors. My dream is to help more people write and publish their books so that we can be a country that is known not just for movies, but we can be a country that is also known for producing the most number of beautiful, talented, gorgeous authors who make a difference in the world.